Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, Changing Phases Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Now today's reading will be a weekly reading focusing on the energy surrounding us during the week of May 14th through the 20th, 2018. As I like to remind you, remember these are general readings, so the messages may or may not resonate with you. The only way for you to get a truly personalized reading focusing on you and what's going on in your life right now would be to get a private reading from me. If you're interested, there are a couple of ways you can do that. The newest way for you to do that is using the Instantgo app. The new app that I've started using. It's sort of a quick way you can message each other and get quick responses to sort of yes/no questions, right? If you're interested, check that out at instantgo.com, and then I'm on there as Changing Phases Tarot. You can also email me at changingphasestarot@gmail.com or take a look at my site, changingphasestarot.weebly.com, where you'll find pricing as well as the types of readings that I offer. And another quick reminder, mid-monthlies will be coming out in the next few days, and those focus on the areas of love and relationships and career and finance. All right, so let me lower my camera a little bit. We have here, I've already shuffled off camera and have pulled the cards for the spread. And so for this reading, I used, for the main reading, the Good Tarot deck by Colette Baron-Reid, and the additional oracle card is from the Soul's Journey deck by James Van Praagh. Now it's interesting because actually all four cards, the three cards in the main spread, plus the card from the bottom of the deck, they're all major arcanas. So that's significant. That shows that there are very powerful messages coming in for this week, and very spiritually guided, sort of divinely guided things happening this week. The card in the middle, the Temptation card, and I'll show you all of them in one second, it came out sort of stuck to this other card. So I've put them both down together here. But let me show you. So we have in the past position the 7, card 7 of the Major Arcana, which is the Chariot, followed by in the present, Major Arcana 15, Temptation, and that came out with the Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups. In the future or outbound position, we have Major Arcana number 9, the Hermit. And the card at the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the week, is Major Arcana number 10, Fortune's Wheel. And from the Soul's Journey deck, we have the card of Success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. All right, so beginning with this card in the past position, the Chariot card. So this could be, recent past. We're looking at weekly readings here. So possibly, going back to last week, the energies we left that week, heading into the new week. The Chariot card speaks of, well, first of all, it's a card of victory. It can mean, it can have to do with movement, sort of physical movement across land. So for some of you, there could have been some type of move involved, or traveling across land, could be traveling in general, but the Chariot is a very good card to have, right? It's a card of victory. It's a card of you being very much in control of what happens. You can see that the woman on the card, she's very loosely holding on to the horses here, right? So guiding the horses, very loosely holding on to the reins. She is in ultimate control. So it's a card of you being in control of where you're heading, you being in control of, sort of your life, where things are going, where you're going right now. It's a card also of victory, of whatever you have, the obstacles that you faced in the past. It's you having overcome those. This is in the past position. So you've overcome something, you've learned a great deal, you've been victorious in some way. And now you're even more in control than ever. You're more sort of fearless than ever. And you're charging forward. Now, it's sitting in the center, the Temptation card. Let me talk about that one to begin with. So the temptation in the traditional tarot, this would be the Devil card. And the Devil card usually speaks of some type of unhealthy, you know, addiction can be, or attachment. You can see here that we have the apple, sort of alluding to the, apple, the temptation, right? Adam and Eve. It really has to do with, being more attached to things here in the earthly realm, in the material realm, than we should be. Whether this is in, we can see here there's a treasure chest. So speaking of, material attachment, being too attached or too focused on, material possessions and wealth, prosperity. It can have to do with overindulging as well, right? So there could be some type of excess, whether this is in the area of eating or drinking or, spending, some type of excess here. So, there's some type of message coming through with this card that there's, you're possibly too focused on the material. You need to be more aware of any type of, excessive sort of behavior or addictive behavior, whether this is your own or, somebody else's. Could even be somebody around you, because it came out here with this Ace of Water card. And usually, the Ace of Water or the Ace of Cups, it speaks of, well, aces are usually yes cards. They're usually victory, new beginning. And with this being the Ace of Water, new beginnings, new love, new relationship. So it's in the area of feelings, relationships. The suit of water or cups has to do with relationships, feelings, emotions. So this could be, this, and it being tied with the temptation card, there could be some type of, attachment, even on the emotional side, right? So, sometimes this card comes out when there's that type of relationship, where sort of there's toxic relationship, the being in a relationship with somebody who doesn't have your best interests at heart, who maybe manipulates you, or, but you end up staying with that person, sort of regardless. So is that type of, energy surrounding when we think of relationships with the Devil card or the Temptation card. But this Ace of Water is usually, it's sort of a blessed energy. It's this, divinely guided new offering. Could be an offering of love. Could be, a brand new relationship. Could be more on the spiritual side, just being more spiritually aware, or, more tapping into your spiritual side as well. And possibly doing that will help guide you away from any type of negative, or an overindulgence, whether this is in the relationships, being in a toxic relationship, or on the, eating, overeating, drinking, drug use, overspending, however this plays out in your own particular life. But, you're being and again, with the, so many major arcana cards, you're being spiritually guided to, move on, to move away from that, to detach yourself from this. Now you have, as the outbound energy, this Hermit card. The Hermit card, it's a card of introspection. It's a card of, sort of going within, seeking out, taking that time out, seeking the knowledge. And you see that there are keys hanging up here, and there's sort of this hidden face in the door there. The Hermit is kind of within the door, and then there's the keyhole, and then all these keys. So it is about, finding that information or gaining that knowledge or perspective that's going to sort of unlock something for you, that's going to possibly open your eyes to something, or unlock some type of hidden truth, and it's all about kind of divine timing once again. It's necessary for you to take this time out to think about things. Possibly you're reflecting on this relationship here. Possibly you're reflecting on, okay, where do I go from here? But it's necessary. It's necessary for you to take this step back, retreat, think about things, and then, keep moving. And so there's having this new or clear perspective on where you're heading. It's also, he's sort of the sage. So it's also a very spiritual card. You could be thinking more deeply. And again, with this, the Ace of Water and then so many major arcana cards, you're really reflecting more on your spiritual side and your spiritual growth, and how that can maybe enable you to detach from any type of, attachment that you have with this temptation card. And then as the overall energy, Wheel of Fortune, or Fortune's Wheel, this is a card of change, right? It's a card of if things have been bad in the past, or if there's been something that's quite difficult that you've had to face in the past, if you've been on the downswing of the wheel for a while, now things are changing, things are turning, the wheel is turning, karma is at play here, destiny coming in, things that you're destined to experience, things that things that are destined to come into your life right now, signs, synchronicities, so if there are any type of, coincidences, we know that there is no coincidence in life, right? Chance does not exist. These things are destined. They're supposed to happen, right? There's a divine reason for these things to be happening. So could be in the form of a lucky break, could be in the form of things suddenly kind of turning out the way that you wanted them to, everything. Maybe you decided to start off on a new endeavor, or head down a new path. Things finally sort of paying off. If you've put a lot of hard work and effort into something, things finally going in your favor. The wheel is turning here, and you're actually starting to see, signs of things changing, and things are sort of, you're gaining clarity. Things are becoming clearer for you now. It's, and it could have to do with this, need to break free of whatever this devil card is, because it's interesting that you have, this movement and you in control in the past, but then this sort of, this temptation card comes in that speaks of some type of attachment, and obviously if you're feeling, if there is this attachment or you are in this toxic relationship, then things are very much out of your control, right? Because many times, even if we want to get out of that situation, it's not that easy, and so there is some need for, taking this time out, reflecting on things, but things are definitely changing. And you have the success card, things are starting to definitely go in your favor now. So if you have felt that, you've been on this, or things have been difficult, lots of obstacles that you've had to face, things are changing. This is it looks like a very powerful week for many of us. And I think we're really going to start seeing, tangible, proof of these changes, that things are finally going in our favor here. Let me read you for the Oracle card. I like to read the full meaning of the card, and we have success. Let me find it here. Here we go. And this card says, success can mean many things to the ego self, but the soul only knows one triumph, and that is to love. When your soul is no longer manifested in the physical dimension, it is a time of reflection on how successful it was with that endeavor. Soul doesn't care how big your house was, or how nice your car was, or how many bank accounts you had. The soul only cares about how you expressed love and compassion. In the infinite wisdom of the universe, the more love you demonstrate, the more you will receive. And even your ego's definition of success is altered. Your notion of how you would be perceived as successful will change. The material things that you thought would make you happy will not have the same appeal. That's so interesting, because that really ties in with the message that I was getting here from the, it's more spiritual, and it's being more in tune with your higher self, with your soul, with the messages coming in from spirit, and detachment. Maybe in the past maybe you did reach some type of, material success. Maybe there was some type of, material gain that to your ego self was, kind of what you'd been hoping for. But here it's asking you to look beyond that, go within, really get in touch with your spiritual, your soul, get away from the ego, listen to the messages coming through, it might be definitely a week of receiving messages, from your spirit guides, the universe really trying to sort of, knock on your door and say, hey, listen, we're here, pay attention to these messages. But it looks like a very powerful week, looks like a good week, a successful week, possibly, a different type of success than what we're used to imagining. So I do hope that the messages have helped you in some way. I thank you for joining me here today. I look forward to reading for you again, and just know that I'm sending you much peace, love, and light for a wonderful week. Bye for now.